Welcome back to the Bua Org podcast. We have a very special guest today, Mr. Cameron Foote, Managing Director of Collective Rise. How are you, mate?
Really good, man. How are you?
Very good. Fresh off a win last night, I hear.
Yes.
Go on, tell us about that. What happened?
Had our company basketball team semi-final.
Mm-hmm.
Got the win. Won by about 15 points.
That's a good win.
Solid win.
Yeah.
Played well, so we got the grand final next Thursday.
Nice. Who plays in that team?
It's me, Ben, Jet, Luca, and Tyler.
Okay. And who top scored?
I think it was Ben, me or Ben.
I'm pretty sure off mic you just told me it was you.
I think it was me or Ben. I think it was me. It might have been tied. I think we both scored 18.
It's good. It's good.
So, yeah.
Who's the playmaker of that team? Who's the Steph Curry? He's not the playmaker. He's the shooter, isn't he?
Yeah, Jet's I'd say playmaker.
Yeah.
Really good with the ball.
Yeah.
And then you've got Ben as the tall scorer, and then I guess me as the smaller scorer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
3-pointers.
3-pointers. Yeah.
Nice.
5 last night. So
Huge. Actually, yeah. 15 of your 18 coming from
From
beyond
3.
the arc.
Yeah.
Do you have that commentator? I don't know his name, but he's famous for like bang.
Bang.
Do you
Yeah.
just like do that in your head when you?
No, I don't. But maybe for the granny.
100% when you shoot the winner.
I'll just yell it out loud.
Love that. Cool, man. Awesome. Well, let's get into it. Thanks for joining us on the pod. I'm going to start a little bit differently this time.
Okay.
I should probably start, give you guys a little bit of context, probably say thank you, because you always tell me to say thank you, because there is an argument that if I hadn't met Cam 13 years ago, I may not be in the industry today.
Yes.
Because you actually ran all my interviews. You were the equivalent of a team manager or an assistant director.
Yeah.
Of Anthony's company, Jam Prospects, and you were running all the recruitment and running the office when I started.
Yeah.
So thanks for interviewing me and giving me a spot, I suppose.
You're welcome.
Yeah. No worries.
When was that? How long ago? 13 years.
Yeah, 2013.
It's crazy.
I started September 2013, so we probably met early September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. It's been no doubt you remember it.
Yeah, very specifically. Yeah, it was a Tuesday afternoon.
Exactly. But it's a pretty cool journey that we've been on as a collective, and obviously us two for the last little bit. So we're going to dive into it today.
Let's go for it.
But before we get into how you got involved in the industry and what you were doing before and the journey all the way through it, I like to go back and give everyone a little bit of context on who each individual is,
Sure.
From growing up. So you're from Melbourne originally, right? So
Born and raised.
Whereabouts?
Ferntree Gully.
All right, there you go. Out in the hills.
Out in the hills, yeah. Lived there for the first 25 years of my life.
Mm-hmm. And what was life like for little Cam?
Little Cam?
Back in the day.
Life was good. I had a pretty, I'd say, good childhood. I was fairly looked after. I got to do most of the things that I wanted. Got to play sport. Got to go on family holidays. Got, great gifts and presents at Christmas and stuff like that. So I feel like I had a pretty good childhood.
Yeah.
As a kid, was always into sport.
Yeah.
Basketball, footy, cricket. They're probably like the main 3, like most Aussie kids, I guess.
Yeah.
I was decent enough in school. Still remember in primary school, I was very academic. Like I got decent enough grades and had like a friendship group and did well. And then as I moved from like primary school to high school, I think just life happens. Things happen in like your personal life and whatnot. And I think I just lost a bit of that academic drive.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely my results at school, say by year 12, were a lot different than year 6, grade 5, grade 4, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, always loved sport. Like I still remember in high school, like every recess, every lunch would just be playing basketball basically.
Yeah.
And at one time I was probably playing in like 6 or 7 different teams over the course of a week, and did that for years.
A week.
Yeah, literally. So I'd play
It's
in
like every night.
Yeah, so I'd play in
different
like
teams every night.
junior teams, mixed teams, senior teams, school teams. Yeah, there was a period there where I was playing basically every day. And yeah, I had to kind of, when I was a little bit younger, I was playing a lot of cricket as well, so I kind of ended up having to choose one of the two, and I was like a little bit better at basketball. So
And you're playing it 7 times a week.
you just
Literally no time for cricket.
So you normally go with the sport that you're like a little bit better at.
Yeah.
So
were you a bowler, a batsman?
Batsman.
Okay.
Batsman came in first drop.
Yeah, Ricky Ponting.
Yeah. So
Cool.
when I was a bit younger, I actually opened the bowling and opened the batting.
Okay.
When I was, I don't know, 10 or 12 or whatever, but then adapted into more of a batsman.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mr. All-round sportsman.
All rounder.
Yeah, love it. There you
Yeah.
go.
So
All right.
that was
And
a bit all over the place, but yeah, a little bit about my childhood.
yeah, interesting. So do you reckon, with you said you were very into school, primary school and maybe early high school, but towards the end of high school that sort of drive dropped off. Do you reckon that was down to influence, friendship groups or different things, or was it more just got more focused on sport and just loved your sport and just that gave you energy, whereas school maybe didn't feel like it was giving you energy anymore? Or
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't actually know. Like, I guess primary school is, easy, but I mean, not every kid finds it easy, so maybe that's not the answer. But I guess as I got older and had more other things kind of to focus on, and sport and girls and family and all this sort of stuff, maybe that just ended up taking a bit more attention. And I think I never really knew what I wanted to do after school anyway, so I didn't really have like that, I needed to get this score to get into this course. It was more just like just try to pass the year and then figure it out later.
yeah.
So yeah, that might have something to do with it potentially.
Yeah, I can certainly relate to that. It always seemed that a lot of people had their next sort of plan worked out towards the end of high school. Like, all my mates were like, yeah, I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to go study this. And, or a bunch of my mates had already dropped out and they're already doing their apprenticeships. And
Did you do year 12?
I did do year 12, yeah. But I had no idea. I went in to study sports science, but because I had the word sport in it.
Yeah. Well, I did sports and recreation at TAFE because it said sport in it. So.
Yeah, there you go. Sounds like we're very similar. But after about 6 months, I kind of worked out that there was a bit too much science and not enough sport, and I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. So
yeah, well, I ended up doing the TAFE course. It was a 2-year course, and it was like finishing year 12 and doing this TAFE course was like going back and doing year 9 again. Like it was, it was such a piss take. Like it was, which suited me perfectly at the time because I was, I was really lazy. So I was like, this is great. You could like skip classes. There was really no work to do until the end of the semester, and then everyone would just kind of cheat and just do like a little bit of one assignment each, and then kind of pile it up and change the font or whatever, and then submit that, and that was
that's how you passed.
That was how I passed. So, but when she sent me a photo the other day, she was like, "Do you actually want this?" And it was a photo of like my diploma, and I was like, "Oh no, like you can keep that."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Aren't you proud of your accomplishments?" I'm like, "Yeah, but like not really that one." So,
if only everyone put as much effort into actually passing as they did to cheating to pass, maybe.
Oh, true.
Know.
Then might have left with some better skills or whatever. But
who knows? But and so is that how, after that course, is that how you ended up in our industry? Was it sort of the course was done, let's try and find some work? Like, tell us the story about how you ended up applying for direct sales and what was the journey there?
I kind of got forced. Not forced into it, but forced into the workforce, I guess. 2 ways. One, because I I mean, as I finished TAFE, I like sort of half started applying for different roles, and there were a lot of them to do with like gyms, working in a gym, you know, PT, receptionist. I even had a few interviews for like membership sales. When
At
I
gyms?
was at gyms, yeah, and didn't get the foot in the door there. But yeah, anyway, I did that for like a little bit and didn't really get anywhere, and then I kind of you know, we talk a lot about now about like losing your attitude. Like I lost my attitude completely at the age of 20, and I was like, I'm not gonna, I can't be bothered looking for a job. Like I still remember thinking this, like it's too hard, and no one wants to hire me. You know, feeling sorry for myself, whatever.
Yeah.
So I kind of retracted, and I just did a lot of nothing. So I did a lot of like sleeping, you know, going out, you know, playing sport, playing PlayStation, you know, doing all the things that you do as a 20-year-old. And my mum kind of gave me an altercation. She's like, you know, you really need to, you know, find the next thing that you're gonna do. And I was like, yeah, I will. And then, you know, maybe like a few months passed and hadn't really done anything. And then she's like, if you don't get a job, I'm going to kick you out.
Right.
Yeah.
Put a foot down.
You're going to have to move in with your dad.
Okay.
And I was like, oh shit. Okay. Maybe I don't really want to do that. So let's start applying. So, I ended up going onto like, it's not the dole, but it's like the equivalent when you're young. I forget what it's called. Job seeker, job allowance, something like that.
Sure.
Basically, it's a government payment. They pay you to be unemployed, but to get the payment, you have to go into like an office type setup, and you have to apply for jobs in front of them, basically, and they check you off, and then you leave. And that's how I applied for sales.
Really?
Yeah.
And so if your mum didn't give you that sort of
Ultimatum.
yeah, what, still be doing nothing?
Correct.
Probably not though.
Yeah. No.
I didn't know that. That's that would have been really hard for her at the time, right? Like to say that to you, and you probably at the time were like a little bit like,
fuck you, mum.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but like, but yeah, like that would have been quite difficult, right?
Yeah. In hindsight, I talked about my childhood a little bit, but I was a bit of a brat. You know, if things didn't go my way, I cracked the shits and like threw tantrums and got angry and didn't talk to my parents for a few days, and you know, shit like that. It's probably more common than I think, but yeah, I wasn't my mum's biggest fan at that point for sure.
Yeah.
And the other funny thing, which I maybe haven't spoken to you about as well, is when I was doing those applies, I was obviously applying for like everything. And Jam Prospects wasn't the only sales role that I was applying for, lots of them. And I ended up having and I got a job interview for another company. I've always tried to remember the name of the agency or the business, and I never have. But I remember not rocking up to the interview. Because I think it was like in the morning and I just slept in and I was like, I can't be bothered. Yeah. And I never, I can't remember if like I just lied to my mum and said, oh yeah, it was great and whatever. Or I just never told her about it. I can't remember, but I always think back like what would the trajectory of the life of my life been if I did go to that, and if that worked or didn't work, what would I have done after? So interesting. Yeah. But yeah,
so take us to when you came in for interview with Jam Prospects. Obviously got, you know, onboarded and started in the field. Take us to that. You know, you said you were quite lazy and lost your attitude quite a bit. So how was the field for you for your first handful of weeks? It must have been a bit of a slap in the face, right?
Yeah, it was tough. Not only was I very, I guess, unmotivated and lazy, just to summarize it briefly, but I was very shy, very introverted, very socially awkward. And I mean, I still am all those things, but back then it was maybe magnified 100 times. Yeah. And I mean, I still remember like not really liking to have a conversation with someone if I didn't know them. So now that was basically my role. And back then, as you know, it was a 100% commission-based role. So if you didn't talk to people, you made no money. So you kind of forced you to put yourself out there. So I still remember it being very difficult. I am someone, however, that if I like something, or if I give something like my entire focus, like I'll do whatever I can physically do for that thing. So whether that's sport and basketball, or whether it's encompassing myself in a video game as a kid, or I ended up eventually doing it with skills, and like work was one of them. So I was that really annoying new person that you sometimes have on your team that just asks like a million questions. I'd ask, how could I improve that pitch? What should I do here? Can you teach me this? Can you give me some advice with this? So I think because I had that kind of mindset at the beginning, like I said, for whatever reason, I'm kind of like a person of two extremes. I'm either like fully into it, or I'm just like, nah, like this isn't it. And I guess through my teenage years, it was mostly this. Whoops, this isn't it. But then as I've grown older, I've started to find different things that that's been the focus.
So do you think you went that way because you could see how sales is a little bit similar to sport in terms of like it's quite competitive and it's about self-improvement and contributing to a bigger team and that sort of thing? Did you see correlations there?
Definitely part of it. Like I'm just naturally a super competitive person, like most of us that are into any sort of sport. So I did find getting a bit of excitement, fulfillment from that. Getting rewarded with like a promotion or bonus, or even getting paired up with someone and it's like, right, who's going to win the day, like who's going to beat who kind of thing. I did really like that, so that definitely brought out that competitiveness, which can help you. So
in saying all that, you did say as well you were quite shy and introverted, so I'm just going to assume that sales was quite difficult for you to pick up originally. Like how were your first 3 or 4 weeks like in that regard?
Yeah, I picked up pretty slow. I mean, I was improving, but it wasn't anything crazy. There's always a bit of an ongoing joke within like the I guess like the manager group of like getting promoted into like a leadership role very slowly. I think from memory it was like 3 months, maybe 2 or 3 months when I started to get that promotion. So kind of, which in contrast takes most people at that time like 4 weeks, 2 weeks sometimes. So it took me like a little bit longer to gain those basic skills, but then once I had them, I became very much a rinse and repeat, and I was very consistent. I performed most weeks, most days. So it took a while to get it, but then once I got it, I guess I had that skill, which helped with I guess building a leader, running a team, showing the example.
Yeah, 100%. I'm pretty similar to that. I remember hearing when I was new that it took you a little bit longer, because it took me a little bit longer. Yeah. It took me probably 6 or 7 weeks to get into a leadership role. And I remember at the time thinking I was like shit and I was slow and what's wrong with me? And then someone was like, oh, don't worry, it took Cam 2 months. And I'm like, oh, he's the guy running the show now. From my perspective, when I started, you were a 23-year-old person running the office. I thought you were the owner when I first met you. So I was like, oh, if this guy who's 23 running the thing took a little bit longer to pick it up, maybe I'll be okay. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of power in that. And I guess I can relate where when you have worked hard to attain the skill, you appreciate it a bit more and you don't take it for granted. Whereas maybe if you are a bit more naturally charismatic and you pick up the initial sales skills quickly, when challenges hit, you're actually not as good at handling them. Yeah. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, there's some people in our current team that are like that, where they've just naturally picked it up really quickly. They're guns, they're top performers almost from the get-go, and now they're starting to train their teams and have people on that they're mentoring, and they're nowhere near as naturally gifted as them, and they're finding it quite difficult to teach them. Yeah. And I was literally educating them this week on like, no one's going to be like you, like everyone's on their own path. And I was like, even though you were naturally good at sales, you probably had like certain types of customers that you were more confident with than others, right? And then as time goes on, you just get better at adapting to everyone. So like training is the same, you probably have a certain type of person that you're really confident with, and then as you get better, you just be adaptable.
100%. And so from then you moved into a leadership role, and you were still 20 at the time, weren't you? Or 2021?
21
at this point. So still quite a young man. Yeah. And now you're leading others, coaching others. Obviously you had the lessons learned, and you probably were a bit more patient with people than, say, these guns who pick it up naturally. But how did you take to coaching? Did you enjoy it? Did you find it difficult balancing now your own personal standards and mentoring other people.
Yeah.
How was that journey?
I did really enjoy it. I did find it difficult. I guess I always wanted them to do really well, and I wanted to show that I could be a good leader. So I definitely put way too much pressure on myself to perform, and even pressure on getting them to perform as well, which, as we know, kind of is a recipe for disaster in hindsight, creating a really tense sort of environment. I still remember the first person I ever had on my team literally, I think, quit after like 1 or 2 days because, he felt like too much pressure. And I was like, okay, that's definitely me, so my bad. But, got better at it, I guess, and learned to just set a good example. And some people are going to pick it up quicker than others. Some people are going to be business partners for years. Some people are, going to work with you for a few months or whatever. And, as long as you leave people better off than when they came, I think that's the main thing.
That's the goal. Yeah. Okay. And then I'm going to ask you a question that I don't really like asking because I hate when people ask me, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Nice.
The reason I don't like it is because people always ask, like, what was the one moment where you actually thought, oh, I could make a career out of this. I want to be a owner of a business.
Yeah.
And there is no one moment because there's many moments over the journey.
Yeah.
But do you have a couple of those moments where you went from this is my job that I'm doing and I'm enjoying it and I'm learning it and I'm making decent money now because I'm good at it?
Yeah.
Was there a few moments where it went from that to, oh, do you know what? I actually think I can run a business and I now want to run my own business and I want to build within that?
I was always afraid of more responsibility because, I was more in the spotlight, and it's never been something that I've been super comfortable with, or it was never like something that I really enjoyed or was excited to be like, up the front or be the center of attention. Like, I like to do my own thing and kind of, blend in with the crowd and whatnot. So at the beginning it was just enjoying it and just being around a cool team and whatnot. Definitely wasn't one moment, but I just remember seeing other people that were running large teams that were maybe in like management roles or whatnot. And maybe they were 1, 2 or 3 years older than me. And I remember maybe seeing them running their teams or learning about their like income packages and their skill sets and stuff like that. And I always was like, oh, it'd be, kind of cool one day to be able to do that and maybe be able to be more confident and maybe be able to look after more people and help more people, whatever that may look like. So yeah, definitely not one thing, but I do remember, I guess, just exposure to people like that. I just ended up becoming more like excited by that prospect, and then I guess because I was really enjoying the process, I guess, and even though it was difficult, I really enjoyed the challenge of it. I really enjoyed the fact that like every day was different. I was rarely feeling bored because you travel around, you meet new people and whatnot. There were still moments where I was kind of like, should I be doing this, and should I be doing something else, and is this, am I going to be any good or whatnot? But I think just exposure to others that were in that position encouraged me to be like, oh, maybe I could see myself doing that.
Yeah. Was that through like different industry events that maybe you saw different people who maybe started at a similar time or maybe just ahead of you, but you saw them going from running teams to running companies, and that sort of gave you that mindset of, oh, if they can, I potentially can? Is that...
Events were cool. It probably wasn't like going to a conference and being like, oh my God, that was awesome, like now I want to do it. It was probably more people that were just in the company that I was working in. Yeah, because at any one time there was like 50, 60 people in this sales company that I was working in. So there was always 3, 4, 5, 6 people that were a couple levels above me that were doing that. And so I think just being around them. Yeah,
makes sense. Okay, cool. And then let's fast forward a little bit. Let's talk about your journey in business. So you opened your first business in, I should remember this, I was there, 2015?
Yes.
Yeah, 2015. And if I remember correctly, you had a pretty good first year. I think you won Best New Marketing Company of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to win that award in 2016, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah, I was at the industry awards. I definitely
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah. So talk to us about that. So the hitting that massive goal that would have been set for a long time, and would have had moments where you've set it for this date and you didn't quite hit it, and then you set it for this date, you didn't quite hit it, or maybe you didn't. Maybe you're like, I'm opening here, and then you did. So
Yeah.
talk to us about the goal of, or achieving that big goal of opening up your own business. How old were you when you opened up that first company?
Would have been 24, 25.
24, 25. So it's still,
Yeah.
again, still very young.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was that like? Tell us about that.
That was a big fulfillment piece, I think. Like, it was maybe a few years before that I, once again, being around the people that were like that, I was like, oh, maybe I could see myself doing that. And then I guess just through reassurance of like people like Anthony Tarquini and other mentors kind of being like, yeah, you've got the ability, like we can do this together sort of thing. I was like, that'd be awesome to do. And then, in this world business that we're in, like things happen very slowly, then they happen very quickly. So I think each promotion kind of was maybe like 12 months. So it was like kind of like a slow, gentle burn, I guess, into that managing director opportunity. And once again, it was just through being around people that were running successful businesses like the Anthonys, like the Bartus at the time, and being like, that'd be awesome to be able to, have your own thing and be in control and be able to provide an environment for others. And like, I never studied business in school. Like, I didn't really know how business worked. Like, I obviously didn't go to uni or anything. So it was definitely a foreign world to be jumping in. But once again, because I was kind of really enjoying just that learning component, it was like the next thing.
Yeah.
And leading into having the opportunity to run my own business, we had an awesome, obviously like an awesome team, and we were, we had just like an insane amount of momentum. We had some awesome people. We had some great sales weapons. We had some great team leaders at the time, and I think for the first maybe 1 to 2 years, we were top performing business.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily, I don't think it was because of my amazing ability to run a business, but like I said, it was just, we had momentum, and I was, systematically doing and saying and planning all the right things based on what I'd learned. So was able to have a few successful years to get started.
100%. And I mean, you say you don't think it was all, of course it wasn't 100% down to you, but I guess your superpower as an owner is you are extremely organized and planned. It's something that I'm still trying to get better at.
Yeah.
I'm getting there, but
Nice.
yeah. Was that always a strength? Were you always really organized, or when you first opened your first company, was that like a big thing that you had to learn straight away? Were you like, oh shit, there's so much to manage?
Nah, learnt.
Or did you learn it on the journey too?
Learn on the journey.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Like for me, planning just creates so much confidence, and I think because I'm not like a naturally super confident person, the more planned and systemized I am, it gives me more confidence. So I found that like, running training sessions or running team meetings or whatever, if I put in time and effort into that planning of it, I was more equipped to go, okay, I know exactly what I'm doing and how I'm presenting and what I'm saying and this, and which gave me more confidence, which effectively made me, I guess, better.
Yeah. So you weren't one of the owners that can sort of wing a meeting off the top of their head side of
Nah, even to this day, like I can't. It's not a superhero.
I'm the same. I look at Daryl sometimes and he writes down 3 words on his sheet of paper and he's like, that's my meeting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you do that? Like I need to know exactly where I'm going next.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm the same. So off the whim stuff's definitely a bit of a weakness, but everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so first couple of years in business went really well. Obviously won Best New Marketing Company in your first year.
Yep.
No doubt just smooth sailings from then, right? Yeah. Kept on in that upward trajectory. There was no challenges.
Yeah, it was all easy, and we'll finish the podcast.
All right, cool. End of pod. Thanks for joining us. I mean, nothing lasts forever. Like there's 4 seasons in a year, so business is exactly the same. I think my first hurdle came where I promoted out maybe my first
one or two officers, so people that were in the company that I was training obviously left to start up their own business, and from that took a bunch of people as it used to happen. So when that happens, you're left with I guess a weaker team because most of your good people are kind of in that team that's been promoted out. And that happened a couple of times where that was definitely a challenge, kind of rebuilding from that, because you're trying to obviously still help them, be successful, but also you're trying to be okay, well, how am I going to now fix things in your own business? So yeah, that was definitely a bit of a challenge at the beginning for sure. And that came with, I guess ups and downs of productivity and business profit, sales. Yeah.
What was the mindset like towards that? Because again, I'm relating to so much of your story because, opened up a couple outside deals and you want to help them succeed. So you put a lot into that, and then home base sometimes takes a bit of a hit.
Yeah.
Did your confidence dip? Did your self-doubt start to creep back in? Because again, you talked about self-doubt previously.
Yeah.
Did all that sort of start to creep back in a little bit? And what did that look like?
Yeah. I mean, I don't, this was going back now over 10 years ago, so I don't remember it super vividly. But I do remember, I mean, like anything, if you're not performing at the level that you would like, you're often, the brain's trying to protect you and give you things to make you feel better, but, won't necessarily serve you. So definitely feel like a lot of doubt and whatnot. But I feel like something that I've always been really good at is just getting on with it, just understanding that it's just part of it. Nothing's going to last forever. So you got to enjoy the highs and then ride the lows. And it's just part of, I guess business and life in general, you just got to learn how to do it. So I think most people in our game are very stubborn, so I never really wanted to throw in the towel or give up or whatever. So it was just about, trying to do the right things, trying to get around the right people, trying to have the right systems, trying to, do all the right things in order to hopefully get the business back to the level that it was at.
Cool. And, the business is flying at the moment. We'll talk a little bit about Collective Rise and the journey, opening that business and the goals moving forward and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds very logical. You sound very logical, nothing lasts forever. Seasons, which I love, because you do need to be logical. You can't get overly emotional through challenges. You need to be level-headed. Was there 1, 2, or 3 things that maybe because this I think where people are going to get the value. It's what were the actions what were the actions that you did that helped rebuild that momentum into now running one of the, you'd probably be top performing, if not in the top 3 to 4 marketing companies in Australia consistently for the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Right. Was there 1 or 2 things that were game changers? Goal setting? Was it just nailing your habits? Was it just nailing the systems of bit team building? Was it getting around people who could support? What was the couple of things that you did?
It's a good question.
Thank you. I'm getting better at this.
It's a hard one. I don't know if there was necessarily 1 or 2 things that I did. I think something that I've always been mindful of is my own, I guess, personal performance, right? So I know that if I'm performing personally, that the business is more than likely going to end up being a reflection of that. So I know that in the past when I haven't, necessarily always been as logically thinking as I am, and I've definitely had periods of business and life or whatever where I've been completely not in that state of mind at all, very emotional, very upset, sad, angry, anxious, depressed, all those sort of things. So but I know that when I'm in check, that my business is probably going to become a reflection of that. So I put a lot of time and effort into fixing myself. So
what does that look like? That's what I want to know. What's the fixing yourself or the getting yourself right? What are the
personal habits, I think, is a big one.
Yep.
I mean, actionable things for me. If I have a killer morning routine, I feel like we're just creatures of habit as humans, So if I've got a system of things I'm doing to work on myself. So whether that's, going for a morning walk with my dog and being outside, whether that's doing meditation and journaling each day, whether that's going and getting physical exercise each day, whether that's making sure I'm prioritizing my sport and relationships. I know that's going to serve me in some way. Whether it's just organizing time to get around people that are better than me. Whether it's just making sure I'm setting aside time to plan for the future, whether that's for the week or for the month or for the year, things that are going to send me in the right direction. So, I feel like if I'm doing all those things for myself, then, I've had periods of my career where maybe I've neglected all of those things, and, you just live a life of a little bit more chaos, I guess. The fluctuations are a lot bigger, not just for business, but I guess just for your own mental health. Versus when, you've kind of got a structure for yourself. I feel like that's probably the best thing, because it's really hard to lead others if you can't lead yourself. So
100%, yeah, that's a great answer. I think it starts with nailing when. I think it starts with leading yourself. When you lead yourself through. I mean, like you just said, you can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. So, nailing your morning routines, your habits. You don't have to be perfect, but you've got to do something, because that puts you in the state that allows you to operate at a high level.
Yeah.
Because running a business you have to be a high performer. You can't run a business and have shit habits.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, right?
You can, but it's hard. Yeah. It's way trickier. And I think the other thing to add to that is when I have been in the complete opposite part of my own state, I guess, and things have been going, against me. I think something that I've probably been quite good at is just leaning on others around to kind of help with that at the beginning, because it's all well and good to say, just have have good habits and just plan for the week and, do things that are going to make you happy. Sure, it's a lot easier said than done sometimes. So sometimes when things aren't the way you want it to be and you don't feel the way you want to feel and business and life isn't going the way that I want, I think just, leaving the ego aside to go, okay, who can I actually use or not use, but who can actually help me? Yeah. Whether that's professionals or mentors or friends or family.
100%. That's great advice. All right, cool. Let's talk a little bit more about Collective Rise then. So you opened that business about a year ago now?
No, it was start of November last year. So what's that? 6 months ago, 5 months ago.
It feels like we've been running a lot longer than that. But, and you opened that with your business partner, Mo.
Yes.
So actually, let's talk about Mo. Let's talk about your relationship with Mo, because you guys, I think it's really cool. You could speak to this a little bit more, but you guys are very much like a little bit of yin yang.
Yeah, definitely.
Great team. So talk to us about your relationship with Mo.
Yeah, well,
how long have you worked with Mo?
Oh, it's 8 years.
8 years, okay.
On and off 8 years, yeah.
Yep.
So he started off in a business that I was running before this one, and he started off in a sales associate role similar to everyone else, and we kind of just worked alongside each other ever since. So he's been with me through lots of highs obviously and lots of lows, through businesses not working out, through things like the COVID pandemic, through relaunching teams and failing teams and whatnot. So when when we're kind of working alongside each other, we decided to kind of take a leap of faith, I guess, and jump into business as a partnership, which in our sector space hasn't really been done before, if not often. So he's awesome at running the front end. He's awesome at dealing with the staff, dealing with training, onboarding, motivating, speaking, and I guess my strengths now are more like systems and logistics and rostering and organizing and dealing with the back end side of running a business. So we figured instead of both of us going into business and kind of doing everything, why not leverage each other and run a business together? So as my previous business that I was running, I had to close down. I probably didn't have an immediate appetite to jump back into business straight away. So like we spent a couple of years just kind of working alongside Adflex and kind of being employees and running the team for that business. And at the time when we started to do that, we were both probably low in confidence and low in attitude and low in goals and everything. So we were just like, let's just try to get ourselves out of this position. And it was like a 2.5 year process that we went from that to thriving and running a large team again and going through ups and downs, both at work and I guess personally as well. But we decided, we just kind of had a chat at the end of the year before last, and we were like, what does next year look like? And long story short, we decided to jump back into the world of business. So a bit of a process to get to that point, but it's been 5 or 6 months now. It's been awesome.
And we'll have to get Mo on the podcast next.
Definitely.
He'll be the next guest. But and what's the goals moving forward? The next 12 months, 2 years, 5 years. What are we trying to do with Collective Rise? Where are we trying to operate?
When I've had people get promoted through my previous businesses, they've always been promoted, but then like basically worked alongside me. So you kind of promoted people into management, business ownership roles, but then they've kind of just worked alongside me
in the same office.
In the same office.
Yep.
Yeah, which is fine. It's benefits, pros and cons to that.
Yep.
But now we're kind of venturing down the path of when that does happen, that we're going to expand and grow interstate, which
awesome.
Which is obviously there's a lot of, once again, pros and cons that come with that. But I think that's the next step in our business journey in terms of having businesses in multiple parts of Australia. And we've got some really good people that we're excited to kind of help them do that. So that's basically the immediate step, is continue to run a kick-ass team, and by the end of this year have offices in somewhere in New South Wales and Queensland. So that's the that's the first goal. And then past that, there's obviously goals, or there's opportunities to venture into different countries, which I've always had a bit of an appetite with the American market. So having a business being run in America in the future will be cool as well.
US.
Yes.
There you go. Go watch some basketball games.
Hell yeah.
That sounds cool. All right. Awesome. We're going to jump into our quick fire final 5 questions sort of thing.
Okay.
So some of these are short, sharp answers.
Yeah.
Just to sort of, again, get to know you a little bit on a more of a personal level. Okay.
Sure.
So what is your coffee order?
Strong almond cappuccino.
Strong almond cappuccino.
Yes.
There you go. Bloody hell. Are you a beer or wine man? Or a none man?
At the moment, none, but both. Probably I'd lean towards wine.
Yeah.
But I went 28, 29 years not drinking it either.
Yeah, right.
I only like sweet stuff, so
Yeah, okay.
yeah, ciders and CC and dry stuff like that. But developed the like for.
You feel like wine? Like I feel like everyone gets into wine as they're getting older.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 32 soon, and I'm like, red wine. I'll go red wine over beer now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the same. I'd say red wine over beer.
There you go.
Yeah.
You've got a bucket list destination that you haven't visited yet, and you'd love to get to one day.
Yeah.
So I know you've done a little bit. You've done a fair bit of travel, actually.
Yeah,
But
I've been.
Tell us where you've been, and then tell us a bucket list destination.
I mean, I've been to across the US, been to different parts of Europe. Fiji. Been to the Caribbean. Been across the. Been to like Bali and stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, done a bit of travel. I've always had an interest with Northern Europe for some reason.
Okay.
Heading out to like Norway, Sweden, that type of thing.
Northern Lights.
Yeah, I have no idea why, but I just think it's something different. It'd be a cool place to kind of tick off. So I think next big trip I do will be back to Europe, and I'll probably tag some part of Northern Europe to it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have a book that has impacted you the most over the journey? A book recommendation that's impacted you?
First ever personal development book I read from start to finish in like a day or two. It's a pretty old school one. It's called The Barefoot Investor. And to this day, it's probably the book that moved the needle the most in terms of changing my entire outlook and plan on finances and investing. So, I mean, pretty boring answer, but I'd say
No, that's a great answer.
I'd say that's
Oh,
probably.
we didn't even get into your investing. You love investing. It's a big passion of yours now.
Yeah.
All right. We have to do a follow-up episode.
Part
and
2.
You can give financial advice, but we'll say it's not financial advice for legal reasons, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
If anyone's watching, it's definitely not financial advice in the next episode. But no, I've read that book too. It's a great book.
Yeah.
Okay. Last 2. What's the best bit of advice that you've received over the journey? And it could be from anyone.
Best piece of advice. I mean, there's been a lot. I would say, once again, it's probably a boring answer, but the whole like run your own race message, like that's given a lot in our world, I guess, or in our industry, because there's so many opportunities, there's so many promotions, there's so many things that you can get access to, and the unique thing, there's so many different people that also have the same opportunity. So I learned really early on that just because someone gets something and you don't, or just because someone gets somewhere and they do it before you, it doesn't actually mean anything. Like, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't affect your likelihood of getting there at all. But we often, like compare, and we get frustrated, we get annoyed, we get sad. So I think I learned that really early on, especially because I didn't pick it up naturally quick, that if you're not where you want to be at a certain time or whatnot, like, it's okay. And I often got really frustrated, especially, like I said, at the beginning of my career, because I'd often compared and got annoyed and got frustrated. So I think that's probably a bit of advice that's kind of stuck for the longest, in terms of, like, use other people's success around you to inspire and motivate. But if you feel like it's like you're getting jealous and annoyed and stuff like that, then you're probably just comparing too much, and it's important just to stay in your own lane, do your own thing, because it doesn't actually really matter.
100%. I was kind of hoping you'd say that as your advice, because you actually gave me that advice when I was 20.
Did I?
Yeah, I was that classic 20-year-old who was hungry and ambitious and getting annoyed that other people were getting ahead faster. So I'd been in the game for about a year at this point. And I remember being really frustrated talking to Daryl, and he goes, "Hey, how about you go talk to Cam?" Different voice, obviously Daryl's my original mentor. So he was just like, "Hey, go talk to Cam." So I remember sitting in your office at the Bridge Road location, and I was telling you why I was so frustrated. And you were like, "Man, how old are you?" I was like, 20. And he goes, "Okay, so why are you in such a rush?" I was like, "I don't know. I just really want to get ahead." And you're like, "Well, if it takes you 5 years from today, and that means you're 25 when you open your first business, would you be happy?" I was like, "Yeah, I'd be stoked." And you're like, "So why are you in such a rush? Who cares if it takes 1 year from now or 5 years from now? It doesn't actually matter."
Yeah.
So you literally told me that, and I was like, that was probably one of the best bits of advice that I've received, because then I chilled the fuck out, and I actually did it in 4 years. And I was 24 when I opened my first company. So
Nice. That's awesome.
So thanks.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. All right, last question. The final question. A bit of a different one. Okay. So, we go to events all the time, and there's often people that kind of hit us up for different bits of advice along their journey.
Mm-hmm.
So you would get asked a lot of questions. But what's the question that you either rarely or never get asked that you wish more people asked you?
Oh, good question. I would say a lot of people tend to ask you questions about, like, what are you doing now in order to be successful, or run a big team, or what do I need to do? What are some tips on running a team, or doing more sales, or whatever? Versus, I think it'd be kind of cool to get more questions like, who were you when you were me, in terms of tenure or age, and what are some things you did to get to that level? Or maybe even ask, like, who were you back then, and then how did you get to be that person that you are now? Because I guess in our industry, you meet, the finished product a lot of the time, and you just see, like, these polished people that are, weapons in all area, but they always once were not that, obviously. And I think just learning more about that would definitely help them.
100%. Rather than I love that answer because we've all done it where we've compared ourselves to someone who's further ahead than us or doing better than us. And it can, be quite upsetting or demoralizing.
Yeah.
But you have to, I always say, rather than compare yourself to where you are now to where they are now, it's compare yourself to where you are now to where they were then.
Yeah.
Because, you realize that everyone's just evolved over time.
Correct.
Great answer.
Thanks.
All right, mate. Well, we've gone a little bit over time, so thanks for joining us. It's been very insightful. Even I've learnt things, and I've known you for 13 years, so there'll be a lot of value out of that. So thanks for joining us on the pod, mate.
All good.